okay? When you go from I got to do this to I get to do this, life's gonna open up for you. It's a Monday, and with that comes a common thought of, oh man, I gotta go to work, okay? Instead of thinking that you gotta go to work, what if you thought about I get to go to work, that it's a privilege, okay? Welcome to another episode of Self-Employed Success Secrets Monday edition. On today's episode, we're gonna talk about how the mindset shift between I gotta do something that's filled with obligation, which leads to weight, and then transitioning that from obligation to opportunity. When you focus on I get to, it's a privilege instead of a punishment. When you focus on get to instead of got to, you go from obligation, which brings weight, to opportunity, which brings joy, okay? I'm gonna say that again. When you're probably sitting here at work and the common thought you're having is, oh man, I gotta go to work. I gotta be a dentist. I gotta be a computer engineer. I gotta be a fisherman. What if you flip that, okay? And from now on, be focused. This is gonna be called Mental Monday. Usually these episodes are for motivation, but they're for mental. And I wanted to talk about attitude, mentality, and motivation on Mondays, okay? And other things on Wednesdays and Saturdays. But the biggest thing here, the crux here, is change how you see your job, okay? Go from being a common worker to being uncommon, okay? People who are uncommon are the ones who get the rewards in life. The status, the compensation, it's people who are uncommon, who are different than other people, who have different habits, different traits, different mental dispositions, okay? And this is a good first step in that process, okay? Go from I got to I get to, okay? Case in point, the job you have now, you apply to it. You turn something in to get that job. You had to sit there for an interview. Okay, basically, I'm saying that it's a privilege. Okay, you are granted a special access to something. Okay, the same way with your life. Your life is a privilege. A lot of us think, oh man, I gotta do this, instead of thinking I get to do this. Okay, there's so much joy in the opportunity of I get to do this. I get to wake up. I get to go to have fun with my friends. I get to go eat. I get to go to the park. I get to go travel and see things. Instead of thinking, oh, I gotta turn this in or I gotta do that. And don't get me wrong, there is some obligation, but don't make the focus obligation, okay? Because you can make your life into what you want it to be with the Lord's help, and there's no doubt about that, okay? But go from obligation to opportunity, okay? When you go from I got to do this to I get to do this, life's gonna feel better at work. You're gonna be more productive. You're gonna make more money. You're gonna make better connections. Everything gets better going from got to get to, as we talk about this on this Mental Monday, okay? Remember, it is a privilege, not a punishment, to be working, okay? There's a quote that says the only thing worse than having a job is not having a job, okay? Think about that. There are some people out there in your neighborhood where you live, family, who don't have a job. Most people don't work. There's 330 million people in the US. Only about like a third of them work, which I think is crazy. I mean, 2/3 of people don't work. I think about all the kids, all the people who are retired, all the people in jail, all of that. 1/3 of people have a job. You are granted a special privilege to earn money. So use that and help people, okay? And be a blessing, not a burden. I'm gonna talk about that in a previous video. Is be a blessing, not a burden, okay? I'm gonna talk about that. I'm planning to talk about that on Saturday, okay? Be a blessing, not a burden. And understand that you have a special privilege to do your job. See it that way. The clients you have now, you're a lawyer, you're a landscape architect, see it as a privilege, okay? They chose you over other people, okay? So it really is a privilege. It's not a punishment, but over time, we're taught that, hey, work is a punishment. It's not a punishment. It's more a revelation than a punishment. Also, too, stay tuned for the very end for a surprise. But just know that you can make your life better, and one step in the right direction is to go from I got to do something to I get to do something, okay? Trade obligation for opportunity and see your job as a privilege and not a punishment, okay? And you'll feel better about work, okay? We got to get away from this. 80% of people hate their jobs. If you hate your job, probably a lot of it has to do with the weight of expectation, okay? That's why I said before that money's deceitful, and the Bible says that money's deceitful. Money's deceitful because when you start trading your services or your products for money, it comes with complication, obligation, and expectation. I told you there are real secrets on these videos, so please stay tuned. I try to give some real stuff that no one's ever really heard before, okay? And not just the same humdrum things that everybody says, oh, work hard. It ain't just working hard. There's a lot of people who work hard, they're not successful, okay? So I just want to pass that along, okay? And I appreciate y'all. And look, some of y'all think you're at your job just to fill time. I'm here to tell you that you're not, okay? You're there to solve problems, okay? You're there to solve problems, be a solutionist. You're there to be an eraser for somebody, to erase something bad that happened. Okay, remember, people don't buy their way into something. They buy their way out of something. They hired you because there's probably a bad employee or a bad, vendor that they had. And they're like, we want you to bring us to Eden. Okay, like I said, I made a video before that everyone expects Eden every day. It's true. Everyone wants you to be perfect at all times. That's the crazy thing about the working world and cause a lot of problems. Everybody wants everything to be perfect. We got these crazy expectations, but I've talked about that before. Okay, but I want you to think about something as in closing, all right, is that instead of thinking of the weight of obligation that is on you while you're working, I want you to go back to the time before you started working at this place, before you started working with this client. Think about the weight, the W-A-I-T, okay? Go back to that mindset of just, I was waiting. I was so excited to get started while I waited. You were telling yourself, man, I can't wait to get my opportunity. I can't wait to get my opportunity. Well, your opportunity is here and you're becoming stultified. And that's a really good word to think about. Stultification means you're losing your energy, your excitement due to the repetitive nature of things, okay? Stultification is a huge problem, okay? So go from W-E-I-G-H-T that comes with the obligation of fulfilling your services to the W-A-I-T. Go back a little bit and remember that time when you were just so excited to be part of this team you're on, okay? Beginner's mind is so important in so many things. Remembering why you did it and how you felt when you started, okay? So, and lastly, keep this in mind, all right? Change your mindset. This is just a suggestion. You don't have to do anything, but this will help you. This is a secret. This is how a lot of people can work long hours and do really hard things when they go from I get to I got to, especially if you're self-employed, because it's hell getting clients when you're self-employed, because people don't want to give up anything. There's no rights for it. It's harder, but it's also better, okay? So go from got to get to, okay? Go from obligation to opportunity. See your job or your clientele as a privilege and not a punishment, okay? And be a blessing and not a burden. All right, but I'll talk about that on Saturday, okay? Remember that. Remember the wait, how long you waited, the months you waited when you were applying, okay? So you don't take it for granted. Trade that W-E-I-G-H-T for the W-A-I-T, okay? And last, here's today's surprise, that intellect annuls fate, okay? Intellect annuls fate. The fate of many people is to have a crappy life, to be honest, okay? But through thinking, you can come out of that and be different and be uncommon, okay? The aim is to be uncommon. And then once you're in an uncommon group of people, be uncommon among them, okay? So thank you so much. Lastly, as always, unsuccessful people make decisions based on their current situations. Oh man, I gotta go to work. My day's already starting off on the wrong foot. But successful people make decisions based on where they want to be. I get to do this. Okay, they chose me over other people. Because they chose this person, they chose this side, make them happy that they chose you, okay? Instead of being regretful. Okay, bye.